question was that how has travel shaped you as a person? What made you, stick to Taj in all your life and giving way forward to Taj? जब आप पहली बार एक 5 स्टार होटल पहली बार मे बी विद योर पेरेंट्स और मतलब क्या याद कुछ याद आता है और कैसा था वो एक्सपीरियंस?
So my first 5-star hotel that I lived in was when I was 6 years old. And that was the hotel. My grandfather owned the first 5-star hotel in Varanasi, which was called Hotel de Paris. I did write to Mr. Rakesh property and I was extremely pleased with my stay. And in the last paragraph I mentioned that in the absence of me finding the appropriate word to describe my emotion that I felt during my stay, I would term it as Tajness. Now I don't know that if that was a coincidence that somebody else thought of the word Tajness at the same time. I've taken broken seats on business class on Air India and flown to Chicago when I could have flown on a flatbed and paid more fare than I would have paid on United or Lufthansa. But it was my loyalty, and I had a short interaction with the CEO at that time, Vincent Campbell, and he sent me along. We were again explaining to me, and he said it is people like me who have to support the re-emerging of the India. And I stuck by that. You work for a year, your hard-earned money, you want a vacation, you check into a hotel. That hotel is the reward of your hard work for a whole year. You're spending your hard-earned money to detox yourself, to have that good time. So it is the reward is there. The hotel services is being done by the people. It is actually the team of the hotel that is the best reward.
So, Mr. Aggarwal, welcome on the show.
Thank you.
And, this is the first show that we are hosting today. And you will be surprised to learn that मैं आपको कितना फॉलो कर रहा हूँ जस्ट बिकॉज आपका और मेरा एक कॉमन एक पेंशेंट है, वो है हॉस्पिटैलिटी. और उस हॉस्पिटैलिटी में भी माय इनिशियल डेज वर विद द ब्रांड कॉल IHCL which operates Taj Hotels, and you have been umpteen number of times. I think you yourself couldn't calculate that how much years and nights that you have spent at the Taj Hotels. So, and to give out our audience that what are we going to do today. So Mr. Aggarwal is not a professional in hospitality industry, but someone who has helped the professionals to grow. So on that note, sir, I welcome you again on the show.
Thank you.
And how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to take my voice to many more people.
Sir, we are grateful that we were able to get your time because you travel so extensively, and more than that, you have a business to run which is very globally operated and expanded. So, आप मुझे ये बताइए सर कि एज अ गेस्ट जब हम किसी की बात करते हैं तो एक गेस्ट की एक लिमिटेशन होती है कि आज की डेट में अगर आप कहीं जा रहे हैं, स्टे कर रहे हैं, और ऑन दैट नोट कि यार आप कहीं डाइन कर रहे हो, तो आपका एक फीडबैक लिया जाता है. इसके बाद कोई लिमिट नहीं होती कि आपको कोई अप्रोच कर रहा है या आपके फीडबैक को वैल्यू दे रहा है. वहीं पे इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, इट्स बीन मोर देन 50 years.
52.
52 to be very precise.
My
So
journey with
52 years that you have been staying at various hotels, exploring hospitality, consuming those services beyond an extra mile. What has shaped you as a person?
So, first of all, 52, when I said 52 is 52 years is my journey been with IHCL,
Okay.
The Taj Group. Yeah, I've been traveling all my life from very young age. So, it's been an incredible journey of travels. And I think travels has been my biggest university that has taught me life from close quarters rather than what my school or university taught me. Life taught me the real, travel taught me the real life. And so, what exactly was your question?
My question was that how has travel shaped you as a person? to start with the conversation
So
with.
travel makes you, first of all, a survivor.
Okay.
And of course, my travel in my childhoods were vacations probably, and then in my uh, early youth, it was travel that was not luxury travel. It was travel to find my identity and establish my business, which meant that I'm very thankful actually that I had to go through that struggle period, and I still did round the world trips when I was 18 years old or 19 years old,
Mm.
in extreme um, tight-fisted economy conditions, where I did not have the luxury of traveling, any class except economy, or living in any luxury hotel. So whether it was bed and breakfast, whether it was even sleeping on the European trains overnight to go to another city, and saving on hotel costs. That's how I did 3, 3, 4 months of extensive global travels, covering 3, 4 continents in each time to establish my business, and thereby also discovering myself and seeing how. And this I'm talking about is mid 80s,
Mm.
in the early to mid 80s, just after my school and college. So, yeah, travel has, and that is the reason that um, anything to do with travel became a passion. Uh, and
What exactly happened, like in your first travel, that you may recall that, you know, a traveler's mind? When did you discover that? कई बार होता है, आप कहीं जाते हैं, आपको किसी का खाना अच्छा लगता है, F&B we talk about, or a building of a hotel, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of service, that how somebody welcomed you, how was the stay. So apart from all these elements, or including these elements, what were your fascination with the hotels or with the travel?
So at that time, in fact, if you look at my early travels, the hotels were budget hotels.
Yes.
They were, like I said, in Europe, especially in the German-speaking areas, you call them pensions. They are basically small, 8 to 14, what we call now in Taj amas, but they are luxury. Pensions are more like guest houses that that give you a budget travel allowance, and with breakfast. So it's like a bed and breakfast place. But so my first exposure to Europe, and those were the days when there was no cell phones, there was no internet. So all my meetings and appointments were done. I prepared 1 year ahead of time before my travel by
Hmm.
sending letters to these various business houses, chambers of commerce, and fixing appointments with them, and waiting for the reply, and then again replying back. So, like, a normal exchange of communication at that time would take 1 month from me to reach them, and another month from them to reach me,
Hmm.
and then maybe some intermediary period. So 2.5, 3 months was a normal exchange of a question and an answer. So, but things worked. So when I my first stop, still remember, towards the west, was Zurich,
Okay.
and um, a country where at that time English was really, really much lesser spoken than what it is today. So, reaching a German-speaking city, Zurich, and finding where my bearings in an environment which was totally alien to me. Um, so, and then it was a 3 month trip with, at that time, you used to get an FTS of $500 from the government of India. But for business travel, they would give you something more. So still remember I had a total of $3,000, for which would have uh, which I required for surviving for 3 months. Um, at that time, the dollar was about 7.5 rupees. So I did not know what tomorrow held.
Hmm.
So obviously, I was on a shoestring budget, trying to save every penny, whether it was my hotel or my food or whatever. But I think that was a very um, um, substantive experience to know how to be able to survive in these very tight budgets, and yet be able to do things that you're there for. So if
Of
I'm there for
course.
business meetings, of course, I also have to make sure that I'm in a suit.
Mm.
So I cannot be in my shorts and round neck t-shirt. So for that, I need to take a shower. I need to, wear my tie. So I need a hotel. I cannot do that on streets. So it was, it was a mixed bag, and that is how my travel started. And then gradually, I saw lots of different. I got success also. I got some disappointments also. But then, because so I've done nearly 58 countries in my life now, and because of extensive global traveling, hospitality and anything to do with the travel industry became, I started enjoying it, because I might as well, because if I did not, then I would be a very sad person, because I was traveling nearly, you can say, for nearly 30 years. I was traveling for um, 8 to 10 months a year, um, and all over. So again, that also gave a passion to me to, like, driving was a passion. So I've done cross country, cross continent driving, which which is all travel related. So after finishing my meetings in any of the metro cities, whether it's Europe, America, Asia, wherever, the first thing I would do is I would go pick up a rental car and drive away to the countryside to discover the country, go to the rural areas, take a villa there, stay there, mix around, even play dumb charades with the locals because you could not speak their language. But that is why I said that travel has been my biggest university and my learning in my life.
प्लीज शेयर दैट एक्सपीरियंस जब आप पहली बार एक 5 स्टार होटल में गए, पहली बार, मे बी विद योर पेरेंट्स, और मतलब वो क्या याद आता है, कुछ याद आता है,
बिल्कुल आता है.
और कैसा था वो एक्सपीरियंस?
So my first five-star hotel that I lived in was when I was 6 years old, and that was the Oberoi, Delhi.
ओके.
Um, because my parents in 1970 moved from Calcutta to Delhi.
हम्म.
I was 6 years old, and my parents stayed at the Oberoi, Delhi for about 6 months until we could find a home, a house. So, so I stayed with them, and that was my first exposure to a five-star hotel. And of course, as a 6-year-old, you cannot gather too much,
Of course.
because yeah, it was comfortable, it was luxurious, it was all good. Um, but my so and again, at a very young age, I used to travel with my father. So our family tree, we the owners of the Clark's group and the Bridge group are a part of that. We are a part of the same family tree. So when I used to travel with my father to Clark's Amer or Clark's Awadh or Clark's Shiraz, it used to be complimentary, and by that time I was 10 or 11 years old. And I used to love that room service trolley coming into my room with those chicken sandwiches and soup, which is, for a 10-year-old, it was a delight to have those kind of F&B services inside your room. So those are my early memories. And
तो घर अच्छा लगता था 6 महीने बाद एक ओबर से निकल के, यू गोइंग बैक टू होम व्हेन यू फाउंड होम?
I wouldn't recall, because I was, like I said, I was 6 years old.
हाँ.
So as a 6-year-old, whether it was from Oberoi, we found a house in South Extension at that time. I moved to South Ex, and then immediately school started. I went to DPS Mathura Road. So so I don't think I really had any regrets at that time. Um, but yeah, between the age of 10 to my Clark's stays was something I used to always miss. The moment we had to leave, check out, and come back home, because I think I was more diligently experiencing the joys of a five-star hotel, including the pool, swimming pool, and everything. So yeah, it used to be a lot of fun.
All right. तो कभी उस टाइम पे ये नहीं आया that you should work in a hotel, like I'm talking about when you were 10, 11, 12, that if you are so much into hospitality or hotels.
You see, everybody loves hotels, right?
Hmm.
Who doesn't love a
Of
luxury hotel?
course.
But I so if I go back a little, uh, my grandfather owned the first five-star hotel in Varanasi,
Oh.
which was called Hotel de Paris.
Hmm.
It was bought over, so it was affiliated with the Hotel de Paris in Paris, and it was owned by a Britisher, which then, after independence, when they were leaving, I think my grandfather, along with some other family members, bought that hotel. And so I'd always heard the name, and I'd always visited that once in a while. Um, but in Varanasi, I really, so it was like a colonial hotel, like, something like, you can say, like the Claridge's kind of a hotel with huge acreage, like about 25 acres, with I think 65 keys. Um, that hotel. Um, I remember that we used to only get the rental from that hotel because it was being run by another partner of my grandfather. So I was too young, and by the time and when I was just in about uh, not even finished senior school, my father announced that he has decided to sell our share on
Oh.
in that hotel to the owners of Chanakya in Delhi.
Oh.
So that hotel was bought over by the Chanakya people, and it is being run by them now. Although,
Hmm.
I'm in very good terms with them, and I wish, if 2 years more had passed, I would have
Ah.
never let that happen.
Okay.
Um, I was too young to
Hmm.
interfere in that decision. Um, but I do have no regrets in my life. Whatever happens happens for a reason and for the best.
Who better than you could understand as we progress in our talks?
Yeah, so fine, I accepted that.
Hmm.
And then, of course, still I knew that the other side of the family owns
Hmm.
the Clarks Group. um, and then, of course, I started using all kinds of hotels that kept mushrooming in Delhi. So
Hmm.
it started with Taj Mansingh, because the oldest ones were Oberoi and Ashoka.
Hmm.
That was all that we knew about hotels at that time. And then Taj Mansingh came, ITC Maurya came, then Hyatt Regency came. So these were all during my, you can say, um, they mushroomed from maybe my age of 16, 17 onwards.
So I believe that 1986 or 87 was the period when Taj happened. Taj Mansingh. I think
No, much
86.
earlier,
Earlier.
earlier.
Okay.
Because I remember that, so at that time, it was a craze of discotheques.
Hmm.
So the first discotheque was at the Oberoi called Tabela,
Hmm.
um, in the 70s.
Okay.
So I could see my elders going there, and once or twice I took a peek, even though there was an age limit to enter, and I was very fascinated by that. And then it was the age of that Saturday Night Fever and John Travolta and all that. So Ghungru at ITC Maurya became the hangout for me
Hmm.
and my friends. And and then shortly opened the discotheque called the Number One at Taj Mansingh.
Okay.
So it used to be then alternate, one day in Ghungru, one day at Number One. And then after some time, the third one came at the Hyatt. It was called the Oasis.
Oasis that
Yeah.
came.
So
Lot many stories, what a nostalgia speaking to you people. Huh? I just,
mm,
recall those
yeah,
memories when I meet those bartenders, those who
yeah,
recognize
yeah.
ki
So
sarab mahat dete, they used to make the drinks, and how everything was building up then,
yeah,
which is now established.
yeah,
So it is very fascinating to learn from people like you, your imagination, your stories, and your nostalgia and everything.
yeah. So it's like, that was, at that time, five-star hotel was a very big deal,
Of course, of course.
because first of all, going by the Indian way, eating out was not a very popular
Ah.
thing. You eat at home, and once in a month you go to a restaurant or a hotel, for a family outing. And but as youngsters, high school, early college, we made it like, those are the Nirula's days.
Ah.
And but when you go to the discotheque, You are there till the door shuts at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you are so famished and hungry
Hmm.
that if you're at Moria, you go to the coffee shop there. If you are in Taj, you go to the Machan. So these are all nostalgic. Even today, when it's a third generation going to Machan. My parents, me, and my children, and now my eldest daughter is 37, and I'm looking forward to becoming a grandfather sometime soon. So the fourth generation will be going to these iconic brands like Machan, House of Ming. What I truly deeply miss is one of the iconic restaurants that Taj had, which was called Tea House of the August Moon. That used to be at Taj Palace. And I have so many memories from there with my parents, with my children when they were toddlers, that I really miss that restaurant. But thank God, some of like Machan and House of Ming still exists, and um, Trattoria in Bombay. These are all iconic brands now because you've grown up with them.
Of course, of
So
course. So, sir, आप मुझे एक बात बताओ, like you stayed in such hotels, आप जाते भी थे, your exposure was enough. What made you, stick to Taj in all your life and giving way forward to Taj?
So until you can say the mid 80s, I was pretty much using every possible hotel that was, whether it was a Hyatt or ITC or Taj or Oberoi's, whatever. And um, but then I think it like the first seed of my understanding why Taj was different from the rest was an incident during my stay uh, in the opening year of Taj Bengal in Calcutta, 1989.
Hmm.
So that first seed was sown by a butler who was assigned to me, and not by anything else. So that's why they say that it's the roots, it's the ground that sustains the tree, and that's mostly ignored and unseen, and people only look at the fruits. So the gesture of that butler does to very so at that time, if I wish I had any inclination that I would be having this kind of a life enriching journey with IHCL and Taj, I would have definitely recorded his name and taken a picture. But there was
But what exactly happened? We would
so
like to
what
hear
happened
that.
was that it was, just to quickly tell you, it was December. I was going for a very important meeting the next morning in Calcutta. So I took the last flight from Delhi, and it was cold in Delhi. So I was suffering from a very chronic cough. And so when I checked into Taj Bengal late at night, it must have been around 11 or something. Um, my butler checked me in. I mean, he came with me accompanied me to my room, and just asked, so he could see that I was very uncomfortable and I had very bad cough. So he asked me, "Sir, is there anything I can bring you?" I said, "No, thank you. I'm good. I just want to sleep. I have to go for my meeting in the morning." So I changed into my pajamas. I went to bed, and after 20 minutes or 15 minutes, I hear the doorbell ring, and that annoyed me actually. That I wanted to sleep, and it was so technically it was a wrong thing, but I opened the door and I see the butler standing there with a tray. And I said, "Listen, you have come to the wrong room because I've not ordered anything." So he said, "No, sir, you haven't ordered, but I saw you very uncomfortable coughing. So I went down to the kitchen, told the chef to make you some kadha. And truly, the kadha he got for me was something that reminded me of what my grandmother would make for me in Varanasi when I was a kid. And I looked at him, and I realized that he walked that extra mile. It was late at night. He did his job. He checked me in. He asked me if I needed anything. He could have very well packed up and gone home too. But so it got me thinking that what he's seeing me for the first time. It's not that he knows me.
that he cares. So he's purely taking his professional job to the level of humanity, which is not a, which is extra, and it is voluntarily you can do that.
Not a regular affair.
Yeah, you're not asked to do that.
Of course.
It's up to you. So that concern, that emotion, and that extra mile of him taking that extra half an hour instead of going home and sleeping to go down to the kitchen and have the chef make that kadha and make it purely traditionally the way it is done by households really touched me. And I thought, okay, that now deserved that uh, I should stay more with Taj, because I could clearly see the distinguishment, the 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 the, the difference between um, the hospitality that, or the gestures that were coming from Taj versus. I mean, not to take anything away from Oberoi was a great hotel. I cannot take anything away from MS Oberoi, Vicky Oberoi, that they set some standards of hospitality that were world class. No denying that. And there were fine hotels. Maurya, then Leela came and all that. So, but and I'm not saying if you compare maybe product to apple, or product wise, there would have been other brands having better products. But then I realized that your stay is um, um, enhanced not so much by the product, but by the team. It's the team that brings that comfort and that quotient of hospitality that makes you feel good. And that I could see was happening in a certain manner at Taj, that was not happening like that. And now in today, if I fast forward today, it is totally transactional. um, Taj is probably the only brand that has, and that's why we have called it now Tajness, because it's a diversion from just a
Normal
word called
service.
hospitality. So, and I don't want to take the claim, but I did write to Mr. Rakesh Khanna in 2013 in an email after I had visited a property and I was extremely pleased with my stay. And in the last paragraph, I had mentioned that in the absence of me finding the appropriate word to describe my emotion that I felt during my stay, I would term it as Tajness.
Oh.
Now, I don't know that if that was a coincidence and somebody else thought of the word Tajness at the same time, or did Mr. Sarna take that word and made it legendary. So, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that Tajness is redefining of hospitality that is peculiar to only Taj. And so I'm continuing with my story. Stop me when you want to, because I can speak endlessly on Taj, as you know it. So, so yeah. I mean, one thing led to another, and one of my greatest gifts in my life, I owe it to Taj, and that is some incredible humans that I've met during this journey, during my stays at different Taj properties or IHCL properties. Incredible people with whom I really bonded, um, um, who I may not see them for 2 years because they are at some property, but we are in touch. And when we see each other, I feel that I'm visit. So any Taj property I visit, even if it's for the first time, it feels I've come home to an extended family. That is the difference why we call it Tajness, because it's that coming home feel. It's that feel where you are not intimidated by the grandeur of the product, but you are comforted with the warmth of the team.
Of course. Sir, now I want to elevate this conversation to a point that I want to know, and audience want to also want to know now. Ki, apart from that level of service that you received as a guest, When was it that the management started recognizing you as a valued guest? Now valued guest has now its own terms now, लेकिन यहाँ पे I want to redefine it to the matter that your feedback or your review really mattered to them. When
Okay.
did that happen and how did that happen?
So first of all, let me correct you and say that at Taj, every guest is valued.
Hmm.
So I don't call myself a valued guest. I'm I'm a guest of Taj, so I'm valued, and that is valued meaning, what is valued? Valued means you're recognized as a human being and not just as a credit card.
Hmm.
Okay, so uh, where of course it's all commercial, it's all transactional at the end of the day, but it is quoted with a or it is within the capsule. The capsule is of humanity, of greeting, of a smile, and very tender way of, everybody knows you're checking in, you have to pay for your room, right? It's not complimentary. But how you conduct that, how humanely you conduct that, is what matters. So the management as such, like I made sure that I was a responsible guest. So if there was anything I found during my stays that was extraordinary, or if it was something wrong, I made sure that I brands now, selections, Vivanta,
Ginger.
Ginger. There is a Gateway. There is Tree of Life. There's so much. But I'm when I say Taj, I mean the whole family. That um, it personally affects me the way it would affect me at my home or my office. If I see something wrong, um, it affects me. If I find something good, it makes me happy. So the sense of belonging is so strong, as if I'm in the DNA of the organization.
And how did that happen for the first time?
Because I first of all I saw that whatever I did was encouraged and appreciated. It was not ignored and thrown in the trash can. And
Whether it was an appreciation or a concern.
yeah, yeah. So because it's like, when you what you do at home, if you find something is going wrong, you fix it. Be it a relationship, be it a gadget, be it a furniture, or anything. So similarly, a product could have problems, or I'm a fresh pair of eyes going to so many. So I have now done 112 individual Taj properties over a period of 52 years, which I think is a kind of a record in itself.
Remarkable
But it is not
milestone.
about that. I'm not trying to prove myself by scoring any number. It is not about the number. The number happened, and it is fun, because it's also very motivating and inspiring to a lot of other people to see. And so I've seen that that has actually helped bring more organic traffic towards Taj, because people get inspired. They see, there must be something happening here,
Hmm.
that this man has done 112
Of
properties.
course.
Either he's out of his mind, that every week he's at a new Taj or a different Taj, or a repetitive Taj, or what is Taj doing that is so
Bothering.
that makes him make Taj a part of his major part of his life journey. And truly today, it's you can say it's beautifully addictive. That it's not that I don't have the similar comforts in my own home or in my office, but I long to go for the people,
Hmm.
for the teams. um, yes, I enjoy the products, the luxury, and the opulence, and I love to indulge in it, but it's the human calling.
But some my question again is that what happened for the first time when you raised something to either a GM or EVP or something of that sort of management uh, directors or somebody at that stature that got you connected at a management level, and the way you are being treated in Hill now?
So
Because there has to
there
be a
had there
certain
had been
point.
some serious issues,
Hmm.
um, which I cannot, of course, name the people, or but there were some serious lapses or issues that happened during the previous CEO or MD's time. Also, there was Mr. Rakesh Sarna before Mr. Chatwal, and then there was Abhijit Mukherjee was there, and I have always felt responsible. So, like, if I witness something in a property which I felt was wrong, maybe it's not to me. It's nothing wrong was being done to me, but I took responsibility even when felt that there was something wrong happening with another guest or some other situation, and I escalated that matter to the MD or the EVP or the general manager, um, because I wanted to see that problem fixed, the matter fixed. And I saw that my word was taken seriously.
Okay.
And over this 52 years, I think I have effectively made my reputation where I have no biases. My loyalty and my commitment is towards the institution and the brand, not to any individual. Yes, of course, Mr. Ratan Tata remains my idol, and uh, I draw from his life to learn and navigate my own life. And ISCL being one of the Tata's um, companies, of course, my loyalty. I mean, it's not only ISCL. I mean, I patronize most of Tata's companies, whether it be insurance, be it Tata New, this Big Basket, or I've told all my team members that you're all going to shop at Big Basket. Uh, this pharmacy thing, 1 mg,
1 mg.
and then Air India. So,
Any particular reason that you feel responsible of being a Tata patronage?
so if you see broadly, it's global knowledge that today Tata is one of the unique industrial houses
Hmm.
in the world where the the whole philosophy is social. It's not self enrichment. It is enriching the society and the country. So it's like even if you're contributing a drop to that ocean, it feels good. I've taken broken seats on business class on Air India and flown to Chicago when I could have flown on a flatbed and paid more fare than I would have paid on United or Lufthansa. But it was my loyalty, and I had a short interaction with the CEO at that time, Wilson Campbell, and he sent me a long email again explaining to me, and he said it is people like me who have to support the re-emerging of Air India, and I stuck by that thing. I said, okay, I'll suffer a bit, but I'll, even like I said, even if I contribute, if I'm a drop, I want to be a very hydrant drop
Mhm.
that contributes in even a small way, because if that's how it is, and that's how it will remain.
Whenever you provide any feedback or something to the organization of that particular hotel, is it every time that your feedback or suggestion is accepted, or there have been some retaliations also?
No, I wouldn't say retaliation at all. But I can tell you this, that every time from, let's say that my journey became more prominent in the last 25 years. If I break up my 52 years,
Hmm.
the second half, of course, is because now the company is opening more hotels in a week that
Hmm.
I can visit. So, so, so um, all my suggestions, my requests, or have always been taken in a very positive manner, and I believe all of them have receive the attention and the conclusion they should. And I think by now I have created enough awareness about myself within the organization that I don't really need to even report to the management. I can fix it myself.
Uh-huh.
So, and I'm not saying that out of any complacency. I'm saying that out of deep respect, that I think the the people have, the teams at Taj have realized that I'm not saying something to throw my weight around, or to um, for any self enrichment or self kind of facility, or whatever I'm saying for purely the betterment of that property, of the brand, of the company, for the better experience of other guests. So it's all selfless. And truly, when you give a selfless contribution, then it is accepted with open arms. When you give a selfish advice, then of course there could be retaliation. So I make sure that all my requests, or my observations, or my suggestions are selfless. And that's what, now I don't even need to tap the door of the MD or the EVP or anybody, because I think I'm pretty effective in my own way.
So when you draw any observation and anything, okay, so what's that basis of yours that you now are into pre-opening also? So pre-opening में तो जैसे companies के भी बड़े गिने चुने लोग जाते हैं किसी hotels में. So being as a guest, you have opened that door to yourself also with your strong base of whatsoever has been happened in your past 25 years, as you said, because आपका जो travel है वो और strong हुआ है towards the brand and all. So why pre-opening teams are requesting your presence there, and you go there, give your time? You know, what's your motivation there, and what are those arenas where you spend your time and give them some valuable feedback?
So it's like visiting the gynecologist before the child is born, just to make sure
Very
that the
nice.
child is coming up beautifully.
And
Uh,
what do you contribute, and what is the base of
so,
your
see, my
contribution?
contribution is, I'm bringing my worth and value purely from the other side of the table as a guest. Okay, I do not have any authority
Hmm.
or any status or standing or designation to go and do anything. It is purely voluntary. I do it because of my love for this brand, of my love for the people in this company. So, and they feel so happy when I visit a pre-opening thing. With the excitement, they show me what is coming up where, and they want me to visualize how this banquet will come up, how this beautiful restaurant will turn up, showing me the mock rooms. You know, it's it's like, it's like when your child starts walking on his journey, and he gets his first success, or while he is working on it, he wants to share with you, and you take joy and pride in seeing that child growing and doing something new. It's the same feeling I get, and I cannot wait to visit it once it opens up, right? So yes, it takes time, effort, energy, everything. And it's not, so if, it's not fun, because you are in heat, you are in dust, you are in rubbles, and you're walking, and your clothes are dirty and your shoes are dirty. But it soothes your soul, because those people, pre-opening team there, they feel so good that somebody took interest in what they're doing outside the company, and a guest who they consider as a family member took the trouble of visiting them, spending some time with them, having a cup of tea with them or a snack with them. So it's like visiting a family. It's visiting a child, a cousin. So Taj has become a part of that life journey, that every property and every individual is a part of my life in some way or the other, you can say.
तो अब आपको वाव फैक्टर कैसे लगता है? बिकॉज देखो, एक होता है जैसे आप कोई नई जगह जाओ, सो इट्स वेरी वाव. आई केम टू दिस ऑफिस फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम एंड आई सी इंटीरियर्स I'm experiencing everything, right from my vision to my ears with this music and what I'm inhaling right now. आपके लिए when you are so much into the property, so much into the service, and people know you before you know them, now the tables have turned around. What is your wow factor in the hotels now? आज अगर आप जाते हैं तो आपको ऐसे क्या लगता है कि अब what do you want to experience new?
So the wow factor. So see, like every property the new property that comes up is unique, right? In terms of its architecture, its
Hmm.
layout, its team, and every team. I see a lot of common people that I may have met earlier in my journey in some other product. So the uh, I don't think I get any wow factor as such anymore, but it just makes me happy to see what new Taj is bringing to the world.
Hmm.
And if I feel that there is something I can um, suggest or share, so see, that is another very important thing, which according to me, I'm able to achieve. Like I consider myself like the pollinating bird. Now, if you see, let us say Taj Mansingh or any Taj, one individual property, the team there is stuck to that property and they see it day in and day out, day in and day out. I maybe visit 5 properties in a month or 4 properties in a month. So my eyes are constantly shuffling. The scene is changing. The movie on the screen changes. But for most of the team, for all the people in those products, it's the same movie playing every day. So what I love to do is to connect the dots, take the strength from one property to another, um, whether it is product wise, service wise, or individual human wise, um, to identify assets.
Hmm.
If I see somebody, even a server or a housekeeper, who is doing something which I find is extraordinary, fabulous, I feel it is very important to identify that individual because that is the future asset of the company. You know that housekeepers also can become general managers one day. A chef can also become a general manager, a front office manager. So operations people, but even F&B people, even housekeeping. So that also, and I have done that. I've identified people from different properties. Some of them were even doing internship and they were going to leave. I identified them. I recommended them to either the general manager or the area director or even the EVP of the region. So my job is only to identify and share. Rest, it's their job.
Management calls.
Yeah, I cannot say that okay, this is what you're going to become or something. And it has happened that after 2 years, I've gone to a hotel and that person is now a restaurant manager or a hotel manager. And I say, oh my God, how come you're here? And one of them had tears in their eyes when this, and she said that, sir, I purposely requested my GM not to tell you that I'm here because I wanted to welcome you because you identified me from such and such restaurant at this hotel in another city, and which put me on this track because of your identification I was noticed. So that I feel is again not only a service to this institution, to this company, but also to humanity, because it's very difficult otherwise, for the management, um, because so I'm seeing things that they could never see, they will never be able to see because they are going there as bosses.
Ah.
I'm going there as a guest, I'm consuming the
For an
services.
experiential purpose.
Yeah. So, and I'm observing, I'm staying there for 3, 4, 5 nights.
Hmm.
The bosses go for specific reasons and they
You
go
do
back.
not have any limit to your conversation,
Yeah.
your experience, but they have.
They, even if they don't, but their time is limited. There is.
But their point of
Hmm.
seeing to the things and observing them is very
Yes.
different.
So Of course, as the pyramid goes, so when you go on the top,
Hmm.
it's easier to notice. But the most difficult part is to
Connect with that bottom
to the
line.
bottom of the pyramid, and the bottom of the pyramid is what supports the top of the pyramid.
Of course.
So that is the most important part,
Hmm.
and it is Tajness is delivered by the people on the ground. You could make any policy in your boardroom, but it is the people on the ground that
Those who
have to
execute.
execute it,
Hmm.
and they are the ones who are then um, making people like me passionate about the brand. So it's not because there's any dearth of beautiful hotels. It is the people who instill that essence of being wanted,
Hmm.
which is the greatest human psychological desire
Of course.
of being wanted.
Back in our minds, this is the very core perspective that we are always being wanted.
Yes.
And it happens to a few, not to all.
And see, today when I went to IHM Aurangabad, I said a line to the students and the faculty that you are the reward the guest is working hard for.
Oh.
Now think about it. You work for a year, your hard earned money, you want a vacation, you could check into a hotel. That hotel is the reward of your hard work for the whole year. You're spending your hard earned money to detox yourself, to have that good time. So it is the reward is the hotel, and the hotel services is being done by the people. It is actually the team of the hotel that is the guest reward, and it is up to them how rewarded they make the guest feel. So that's why, like I tell in Rambagh, my staple line has been for the last 35, 40 years that every guest who walks in the gate of Rambagh Palace, the moment his foot is in, the man converts into Savai Mansingh and the woman converts into Gayatri Devi.
Ah,
They are paying a lakh of rupees a night, for example, not for bed and shower, but for that experience,
of course.
right? For where that bed and shower belongs.
Yes.
So they have come from their bruised
Ordinary.
from the
Yeah.
world into that world of fantasy of Rambagh. They have decided to invest that kind of money into paying for their stay, not because they want just a bed and shower and
They want to have that
that
feeling
feel,
of
yeah,
being into a palace.
to make each one of them feel, because see, and that becomes addictive.
Hmm.
um, if today, see, a person goes where the person feels that his ego is happy.
Yes.
So satisfying the ego of the guest and suppressing your own is basically a good hotelier.
Sir, why don't you write a book?
So actually, I'll show you. I have some. Um, um, I was presented a beautiful coffee table book on my 100th stay.
Oh,
Can I bring it right now?
I'll just वो हम उसमें कर लेंगे ना
अच्छा.
जैसे उसमें इसी बात के बीच में जोड़ देंगे
हाँ,
उसको.
so I am going to write a book. It's going to be a book, a coffee table book on my journey with IHCL and my gratitude to Mr. Ratan Naval Tata, that without the Tata's ethos and values, something like Taj could have never happened. Because it's not just it is only the Tatas who could indefinitely run a hotel in losses but not close it, because it was the pride of the
The
group
nation
and the nation,
and the nation, of course.
right?
We are
Any
being
other business group,
identified by that Taj Mahal hotel in Mumbai.
any other business group, you're making losses, shut it down, sell it, or move away. Tatas are the only exception. I think it's one of the most unique business groups um, or houses in the world where the ultimate goal is not personal enrichment, but to grow the company for the sake of the country and the people. And
Speaking about Mr. Tata, I would like to request you on one thing, that please be precise on what happened in 2019 when you wrote something directly to him, and it was not very normal of him of that stature to respond you back.
so you just said it. So I in
No, I,
2019,
I, I just gave a hint.
no, no.
You
So
have to elaborate.
yeah, so there's nothing to elaborate except of, that is something which will stay, which stays with me every living moment in my life. Not as in awe of a billionaire, but so what happened was that in 2019 I sent him an email, um, on IHCL, and introducing myself to him as maybe a regular IHCL guest, and how, I would love to have an audience with him, even if it is for 5 minutes, and discuss my, or to tell him how my journey has been, and how rewarding it has been, or how enriching it has been, and to thank him for who he is, and for founding an organization like IHCL. And so, I mean, of course, when I was even typing that email, I was not remotely even expecting a response to it. But I don't know what came over me, and I said, okay, I just, probably in my subconscious, I just w- anyway wanted to reach out to him to thank him. Whether he responds, he doesn't respond, he reads or he doesn't read. But I thought I owed it to him, so I sent that. And within, I think, 30 or 40 minutes, I was stunned to see on my inbox saying, RNT, Ratan Naval Tata. That's how his email used to come. So different when he would send, and different when his office would send. And then at the bottom, so it was a 3 paragraph email, so not a one liner, which most CEOs or chairmen would do. 3 paragraphs, which means that the person read my email, understood its essence, and responded to me appropriately, accordingly. And at the bottom, signed, Ratan. And when the future emails were exchanged, it came from the office of Mr. Ratan and Tata, or with kind regards, Ratan and Tata, because, but that was the only, and that he sent from his personal device. Whether it was his iPad or iPhone, or I mean, smartphone, I don't know. But and that also would be a life changing moment for me, because it it kind of, not only inspired is a very small word for this. It was life changing, because it made me feel and understand that if a man of that stature can respond to something so trivial, which is, so first of all, in his empire, a small part IHCL, in IHCL, a minute part a guest, for him to be able to respond to that one single guest with a personal email was a life changing moment for me, and a lesson in humility, or attention, or the that how time management, like, I mean, I can never come to any conclusion what was it, but
Highest pinnacle of
yeah, I
humility.
feel very blessed,
Hmm.
because, like I said, great people or great leaders are who lead others to success,
Hmm.
not themselves. So, and Mr. Ratan Naval Tata uh, is of a different dimension, where even without knowing, or without understanding, he has touched millions of lives in the world, and touched in a positive manner. I think that is a life well lived. That is a character. That is a personality. Nobody has seen God, but when you see such elevated human beings, and it's not about because of the billionaire that he was, or the Tata name, the human, the man he was, the the उसको हिंदी में हम कहेंगे इतने सरल इंसान कि जो मतलब अपने होटल से खुद उबर लेके चले जाएं. डू यू नो अबाउट दैट स्टोरी? ओके, सो दैट्स सम अदर टाइम. आई मीन, कैन यू,
प्लीज कैरी ऑन विद दैट स्टोरी बिकॉज अभी वो मोमेंट बना हुआ है. प्लीज.
which story? The Uber story?
Uber story.
So anyway, so yeah, so I'll come to that. But there are many incidences like that. I've seen him also live at the Taj Mahal Towers in Bombay, and how he got upset with his own team because they were making way for him to go to the tower. He was going to souk for dinner, and they were making way for him, and he stopped them and he said, "No, the guests who are there, they have the first right to be on that elevator before me. They are my guests too." So that is how. So he was, his one of his favorite restaurants was Thai Pavilion at the President in Bombay, and he was dining there with one friend. And when the dinner got over, the friend left, and Mr. Tata slowly walked from the restaurant to the towards the porch of the hotel, and he was on his phone observing it, and relate to every hotel HOD meetings or team meetings that I have, I want them to know that what Mr. Tata was all about, who was a, you know, and if a man like that could be so simple, so humble, that he can, from his own hotel where he has a fleet of cars, and within the 5 kilometer vicinity of that hotel, probably half the real estate is owned by him. He is taking an Uber. So that should be a case study, that it can only be greatness to a level which is not comprehensible by human beings.
Of course.
No, forget
That
about.
is what sets him apart as who he was.
Yeah. So it's, yeah.
And we still live by his ideology.
So tell me, today we are talking about this incident not because he was a billionaire.
No.
So had he not sat in that Uber, we would not be talking about him, right? So that sets a person apart as great because of gestures and habits or things that the person has which is not commonly found. Today, even a general manager of a hotel will not take an Uber. He also wants, or he or she will take a hotel car with a driver and all. And why not? They're entitled to it. So it is like, so I thought that maybe, he thought there is nothing that I cannot have. So maybe it's best to not have anything.
So maybe what I can draw from these talks is that you find bliss in simplicity.
Absolutely. So but it's very difficult for most people to understand. I love the luxury and the life of this hotels and everything. But the simplicity comes when you remain unattached, right? So yes, enjoy everything, but remain unattached, and that is when your enjoyment is much better, because actually enjoyment with attachment brings you down. It makes you unhappy, because then you don't want to come back home.
Nah.
Right? Because you are attached to that. What actually makes me sad when I leave a Taj hotel is the people I'm leaving behind, not the hotel. It's like if I had gone to visit a child, I would feel bad, or I would feel sad.
That separation.
That separation from the child.
Yeah.
That is the emotion that comes in me, not the moving away from the.
No longer more than 2 or 3 minutes. Your eyes are pleased to see the infrastructure and everything, but after 5 minutes, you will have to find somebody talking to you, taking care of you, or matching that level of you know. You need to see somebody live in front of you. That is what people matters.
So I'll tell you, very well said. Let us say I go to Rambagh Palace. I'm staying there for 4 nights. I'm all alone, and I'm just indulging in the hotel. Me time. Tell me, can anybody be sane to spend 4 isolated days in a property with no human interaction. I do not get a minute.
Mm.
It's like I walk into this restaurant, I walk into that corridor. Anybody who is from the team of Rambagh will stop. Gamagani sir, kaise hain aap? You know, some of them I'll have conversations. You know, the F&B director or executive housekeeper, and it's not about Taj, and it's about life. And of course, we talk about Taj also. We talk about, you know, what are new things happening, what are the improvements happening. So it's mixed bag. But those 4 days fly by without me even realizing that I was alone. So it is a family of 500 people in Rambagh that I was visiting. 4 days was less. You know, that's the emotion.
Sir, let's face the reality now. I'll shift this to something what is reality. In our series, there have been guests who have been avid traveler all their life because of their business also. What I figured out that they had a very valid point, because I have also been into this industry serving people at front office, checking in, checking out. Now their point was that what hospitality service and standards they used to receive in earlier times,
Yeah,
something has been diminished.
true. I agree.
Earlier, Indian hospitality was a benchmark that the world looked up to. Gradually and slowly, it has come down to promptness. Now, promptness in terms of the way you check in and the way you are being walked across to your room. Earlier, there was building a relationship. Now, it is providing a product for which the guest is here. So there are no more conversation that you indulge in. There are no more human grounds that you connect upon. So we are yet to see a guest like you to be recognized in any of the hotels. I'm not specific oriented to Taj, but in any of the properties. What's your take on this? Like, what has changed over the years? Because अब आपका जो stature है in the hotels, of course ताज के साथ भी, it is not to a normal guest checking into the hotel. So in your observation, what is going right and what do we need to improve in terms of service and hospitality?
So see, first of all, I partially agree with you, but when you say relationship, a relationship is a two-way street. You know, it cannot be that I want a relationship but you don't, and so then, you know, I cannot force you. So today's profile of the guest has also changed than what it was in the 70s and 80s. At that time, it was a different world, much more relaxed, much slower, and the human values were more important, and time was available. Today, everybody's in a rush. The new generation is, they are impatient. They don't want to indulge in those conversations which are, they feel are idle and useless. You know, the way they say, cut the crap out. You know, let's just give me the key, let me go to my room. So what I mean to say is that it's also the expectation of the new generation, but don't forget that the new there is new generation also on the other side of the table in the hotels. They have also come up in a way where those, you know, they have not, because see, hospitality does not, it's not just the IHMs that teach you hospitality. It's also part of your upbringing, your
Hmm.
culture. You know, so why is Indian hospitality so revered? Is
Because it
because
is rooted in our
in
daily
Indian culture,
practice.
right? Now you see how many people in this, you know, I grew up in the 60s and 70s.
Hmm.
We did not have the guts to speak a word in front of our father which was even slightly in a high pitch. My children could have, you know, they even tell me off and bang the door and walk out, right? So look at the contrast in the whole mindset of the same relationship, father and child, father and child. So there has been a shift, the Western influence also. So, you know, you cannot just say I want the best of the world, but yet I'm not willing to
Hmm.
contribute to it. So you want to be treated, so like you want to be you want to be American when it suits you, you want to be Indian when it suits you. Be either American or Indian.
Hmm.
You want the Indian hospitality, but you want the American way of transaction.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't say that it is totally um, so, and that is why I feel that my contribution of my experience is very important to the new generation, even of hoteliers.
Any contribution would you like to mention here so that other budding hoteliers or in the business could grow with your talks?
So contribution is meaning that when I sit down with them and I talk to them and I explain to them
Hmm.
that at the end of the day, the idea is to be content in what you're doing.
Hmm.
Yes, you are drawing a salary,
Hmm.
but a job well done brings you a contentment that gives you a level of satisfaction that is higher than the salary. You know, it brings you the, so contentment is a reward which is non-transactional. That only happens when you truly feel that you have done something good. It's a feel
Exactly.
good factor, right? So I basically, I'm not comparing them. I don't tell them, oh, पहले ऐसे होता था, अब ऐसे होता है, you guys are now not. No, I just try to awaken in them, which I feel, without telling them that it is expected from them. I I I tell them about it to make them feel that as a human being they will feel more complete and fulfilled. So then their outlook changes, and they realize that it is not an expectation, but it is for my own good
Hmm.
if I'm able to think or do like that. The other thing is that the the like I told you, in 70s there was a handful of families and people that would visit hotels. Look at 50 years later, it's like there are queues even in the lobbies, right? And all sorts of hotels, from budget hotels to the fabulous luxury properties, have come up. Look at the numbers from the 70s or the 60s to, there is no match. You could count probably in Delhi, you could count the number in thousands
Hmm.
across all the five-star hotels. Today it would be in millions. So it's then the expansion and the growth. So it's not easy to train or bring that old values into a new set of people, because some at that time I saw that even people who did not come from a formal training of hospitality, who just joined, but they learned just observing,
Hmm.
because there was their seniors were following that. They had the time, they saw that it was possible to please the guests and get the time, like the club life and everything. Today it is impossible. And so, like I said, I was telling you this butler who was just appointed with me at Gurugram. He was there in the audience when I spoke at IHM Aurangabad, and so I made that moment for him so special, by not by making him feel that it is an honor for him to stand with me, but the other way around, that it is an honor for me to stand with you, because you were there, heard me, you are today serving me professionally,
So the journey of your word has traveled and executed on a shop
and
floor.
then you saw the result of it on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Huh? So that brings contentment to me.
Hmm.
That a youngster, I could instill the right seed and put that right thought in his or her mind, where they can look beyond transactional
Hmm.
and understand that I live by the philosophy that I am a custodian, even of my own body.
Hmm.
What else can I own?
Nothing.
So when you cannot own anything, then what is the purpose? Is to live life to the fullest while it is lasting, and not postpone anything. So that's why the non-attachment comes. I'm sorry, I'm bringing some philosophy into
No,
the
your office also says tomorrow is a rumor.
tomorrow is a rumor.
See how observatory I am.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So, sir, now tell me, let's shift this to another tangent. Okay, so kind of a rapid fire, kind of a rapid fire.
Okay.
So you do not have a third choice.
Okay.
Okay. So a palace hotel or a business hotel?
Palace.
Palace hotel. Which palace hotel attracts you the most?
Rambagh.
Why?
Soulfulness. Where the soul is in ecstasy.
Okay. F&B you like the most, or any other sort of service or something that you know, take the pleasure of being in the hotel?
So they're all essentials.
Okay.
So in their own places, they cannot be replaced.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't say, yes, of course, I'm a foodie. I've learned a lot and I've met the most amazing chefs in IHCL and even all over the world. And I've learned so much about food, and I continue to learn,
Hmm.
that I have understood how to enjoy my food better because I learned about it.
Okay. What's your favorite restaurants amongst all the Taj hotels? You can name it a few, not restrict to one. And the dish that you like the most.
So until last year, I used to say my favorite restaurant in the world, because Taj sends you a survey
Hmm.
after your stay is over, and there's a question in that, which is your favorite restaurant in the world, not only in Taj. And my answer used to be Nonya Taj JLT Dubai.
Okay.
But now I stopped, because in my last day I saw that it went down, for reasons known to us. I discussed it with the general manager also, and she agreed. So she's trying very hard to bring it back. But yeah, Nonya was probably for 3-4 years my
Hmm.
favorite. Then Nobu, of course, is world famous, but I was not very impressed with it. Lately, I just visited Kimikai, like I told you, and I felt that it was outstanding, and I would recommend that you must go there, because F&B is a experience that involves all your senses, and Kimikai filled up my senses. From sight to sound to smell to taste, everything. Um, it's in Horizon One, Gurgaon. In Taj, of course, I I've always loved the casual all day dinings like Machan and all that. House of Ming has been a big favorite. Um, um, I would say Giardino at Jai Mahal Palace is one of my favorite Italian restaurants, because the chef is outstanding there. Um, all the restaurants at the President,
Hmm.
you know, Trattoria, Thai Pavilion. Um, what's the name of the South Indian one? I'm forgetting. No, not Konkan Cafe. The F&B at the President is legendary.
Hmm.
So then, of course, Karavali in Bangalore at the gate. It used to be Gateway earlier. I don't know if it's still Gateway or it's changed. Um, Culon in London, chef Sriram, both Michelin star. The chef also in the restaurant also. It's a part of Taj, but still it's independent. So yeah, I mean,
Anything in last years that you miss nowadays in the business,
in which way? I mean,
in terms of experiencing the service?
no. In fact, my journey gets
Better every
better
time
and
that
better and bigger and bigger.
if it happens sometime that you check in into a hotel abruptly and nobody knows you around, like nobody's aware of you
Which happens.
being.
I mean, I travel all the time to places where, I mean, not in Taj, because Taj, what happens is that I think I have become, like I said, because I'm in the DNA.
Hmm.
So even if I'm visiting a Taj for the first time and it's a brand new team, somehow they would know something that of my close association with Taj. So it's very difficult
So do
to.
you travel just like that, or you have something
No, I do.
pre-planned?
I no
Okay.
no no, now a lot of my travels are apart from business. I also spend days
So
just for
they
the
are
sake of
always on
Taj.
the spine when you are around.
No, I would say they're happy, and
Hmm.
we kind of we celebrate Taj together, the team and me,
Hmm.
because they understand from me, or they see from me, that if a guest can be so passionate,
Why
uh,
can't we?
then we should be so proud of wearing that lapel pin, because we are a part of that happiness. We
Hmm.
we are the ones who are creating that happiness, that joy. So there must be something really right we are doing to make the guests so happy, right?
So your friends from the other hotels and all, they force you to be there?
Yeah. So I also go to a lot of overseas, in
Hmm.
Europe or Australia or Americas. First time check in, it doesn't matter. There in America, you have to even carry your own suitcase to the room. It doesn't bother me. Like I said, I'm detached. I take
Hmm.
every day of life as a gift. And when I'm at a Taj, I feel that this is a super gift, or the icing on the cake. And I enjoy those days, and I make sure that I leave my residue of contributing to the organization in a manner that can make a difference. So that is my always my mantra, that when you go somewhere, uh, see if you can make some change that will stay with the organization for a long time. And that's why now, even group discussions
Hmm.
or
Hmm. Hmm.
HOD meetings or whatever, uh, I don't try to lecture to them. I'm not there to teach them anything, because I'm myself a student, in the sense that, and I'm not a professional hotelier. So who am I to teach them? But I try to share my experiences with them. I tell them what made me feel good, how they have inherited the baton that was enriched by the previous generation,
Hmm.
and how they should be thankful to that generation for today having pride in wearing that label,
Lapel.
and make sure that when you hand it over to the next one, you hand it even in more enriched.
Ah.
So this is a realization that I saw a lot of people were actually quite. They realized that, oh yeah, what we are enjoying today as a Taj,
That was inherited
it
by
was
from
it
our
there was a
ancestors,
lot of hard work done
put in by our
by a lot of
the
people
founding
before us.
members.
Not only found
But then who created
the
and
teams.
yes,
Yeah,
who paved the way
yeah,
to
because see,
where we are
founding
today?
members did their job. They gave leadership.
Hmm.
They
But
gave.
then it continues in the same manner every generation.
So like I said, my butler at Taj Bengal,
Ah,
you know,
that Kada story.
yeah. So it not for him.
Hmm. But it was for you.
Maybe I would have been with Oberoi's. Who knows?
Yeah. Lucky Taj. So sir, tell me in a very philosophical manner also कि इतना बड़ा जो टाइम स्पैन होता है वो किसी के लिए आसान भी नहीं होता. Now अगर आप देखें उस एंगल से कि ताज ने आपकी लाइफ में क्या इम्पैक्ट क्रिएट किया है. Now while contributing your observations to the Taj, how has it impacted in your life? How do you see
I told you
yourself?
in just one simple sentence. Taj is a part enriched my life's journey.
Hmm.
I Taj is not an institution or a commercial establishment for me.
Hmm.
Taj is a part of my life,
Hmm.
and a happy and joyous part of my life.
Okay.
Taj is what has made me feel very complete and content as a human of the life that I have lived.
Hmm.
It has given me opportunity to see the finery of life, the fineness, the opulence. At the same time, it has given me some most amazing relationships, as friends, brothers, sisters, um, people who I deeply care for and who deeply care for me, without any transactional value,
Of
you
course,
know,
sir.
just based on human exchange. Um, so there are a lot of them who confide in me. So like some youngsters, they treat me like an elder brother or a father figure, and they take my advice that, sir, understand the company, you understand the industry. Tell us, we are in this, and then some of them are single, no parents, nobody. And so
You become
they
family to them.
find their comfort in me, that they can call me and they can talk to me like they would talk to their father, and ask, what should I do, what should be my decision. And to the best of my ability, I will tell them. At the same time, I'll tell them that there are no guarantees in life. Your best intent, because you are also born with your own journey.
Hmm.
So you cannot always blame the organization or life. You also have, like, for example, if you were running your own business and you incurred a loss, who would you blame?
No one.
So if you are working for Taj, and if there is a problem, or if you feel that there has been something unfair, you cannot blame your bosses. It is also your own life journey. Yes, you can work out of it, and you can diligently do things where eventually justice is given to you. But don't play a blame game, because you were born as you, and being a part of IHCL is a part of your growth in your life or journey, and you have to live it. And there will be times of typhoon also, there'll be times of thunder also, there'll be times of spring also. Enjoy all seasons. you know just because you become an employee does not mean that now your responsibility is over, and now your destiny is in the hands of your bosses.
What does luxury means to you?
Emotion. Luxury, it's an enzyme in your brain. So it it's a feel happy, feel good factor. So feel good kya hota hai? It is an enzyme in your brain that makes you feel happy. Otherwise, tell me, who in the right logical mind would pay $50,000 for an Hermes bag and feel happy? Huh? Is Which means that that transaction was not important. Holding of that bag and that brand was important. That brought some happiness to your head, which your head otherwise would say that you're an idiot. You paid $50,000 for a bag that actually cost only $100. So bad deal. But so luxury is not about deals. Luxury is about feel good and pampering yourself. It's a way of announcing that you've arrived. So
That we exist.
not
Like you
not
said
exist.
that you're wanted.
No. So that's a different emotion. Not merely exist, but you know, all the cars have four wheels. Then what is the difference between a Maruti and a Rolls Royce or a Mercedes? The difference is not in the journey and the destination. The difference is on what you're sitting for that journey. So you could have done that for a fraction of a cost, but you chose to go in the German way or the British way because it makes you feel good. So to make yourself feel good, you bought a 5 crore Rolls Royce for the same journey, same distance, right? So luxury, because so if you travel first class, you travel business class, you travel. It's not, yes, comfort is a part of it, but it is comfort comes in even in a 7 Series BMW, right? But what is the so it is one thing I should share this with you. Sometimes in the 70s, I was on a KLM flight from Amsterdam to New York, and I was reading a Time magazine on my flight, and the center spread of the magazine was blank, white, just RR, Rolls Royce. And at the bottom, like, where you see disclaimers,
Mm-hmm.
fine print saying, we distinguish between the rich and the wealthy. So, no tamasha, no. So, the difference between rich and wealthy. Now, try to understand the difference. That the wealthy is even a deeper emotion. The rich can still be transactional. They want a deal. Yes, what kind of discount I'm getting? The wealthy will never. You know, they want something, they want to go somewhere, they want something. But there is no question before that, that okay, how much will it cost? So that's why I feel that luxury is um, not a, I wouldn't say it is, uh, luxury is a very important emotion to be fulfilled for a feel good factor in life. And if you can afford it, of course. And there's nothing wrong with that. And today, like I said, and but I don't get attached to it. Um, I, I mean, I've stayed at presidential suites at many of these Taj and non-Taj hotels, where it is unreal. You know, it is the opulence, the every inch is a pleasure to the eye. Um, but you enjoy it while you're there, and then come back to reality. So that's the way it should be, so that you can then maintain your sanity. And hospitality is a great industry. Like, it's all about healing. Hospitality is about healing, of course, comfort. um, but as long as you keep it to comfort and healing, you'll enjoy it. Otherwise, it's everybody's take.
To sum up the conversation, who better than you would understand that it's all about human touch? In today's world, we talk about the technology also that we are inculcating these days. So there is always a debate about this thing that if we inculcate technology, there be a less human touch. So what's your take on this?
So it depends on the product. I would say like a Rambag should definitely be humane and human touch, because that's the old world charm one is going to. You don't want robots to receive you, and iPads to be replacing your room service and all that, right? So I think it's the product that should define the. So if it's a very busy business hotel, yes, some modernization of gadgetry, and which is for the convenience of the guest. Because so I think, they can be different products, different levels. um, Marriott, for example, has from St. Regis to, um, is it Ritz Carlton? Ritz Carlton is also
Ritz
Marriott.
Carlton Bangalore.
No, no,
How the
I'm talking about
product
the
is.
brand. So
Yeah.
now, for example, a Ritz Carlton will give you a very personalized service, while a normal Marriott or a Courtyard will be very basic,
Mm.
or more gadgetry and more electronic. So, and I think then it's a guest choice. You want what you want to choose. You want to choose a Ritz Carlton, or you want to choose a Rambagh Palace, or you want to choose a Ginger. Um,
Depends upon the needs also.
yeah.
Anything that you would like to say that I have been missed upon, because there is a long story that is
Yeah.
needs to be
So,
covered.
no, I mean, this could be an endless conversation, because I have so many stories and great stories that have um, that stay with me, that they have taught me. I've learned so much. I've And that's why I put it in a very concise way, that Taj has enriched my life's journey. And um, and I feel very blessed to have been able to so organically develop this relationship, which is not by dropping names, or throwing my weight around, but based on my interactions over decades with individuals who understood me as a human being, who was there to listen to them also, and explain to them what would be the expectation of a guest who is spending that kind of money on different products. And the easiest way I tell them is that put yourself in the guest shoes. If you were paying, let's say, a lakh of rupees a night for a suite in Rambagh Palace, what would you expect? Do give the same to the guest. That's the easiest way. So I said, you don't have. It's not rocket science. You don't have to go and ask anybody, what should I be doing for a guest who is I say, think about it in reality, that yes, from my pocket I paid 1 lakh for this night. How can I make this night special for 1 lakh of rupees that I've spent? And you'll get the answer.
So thank you so much for giving your time, and I believe that along with me, our audience would have got an insight that how a guest should be, because there are also the responsibility of the guest that he or she needs to understand. Because अगर आप नहीं गाइड करेंगे तो बेटर कौन करेगा? That is my submission to
So
this.
I would like to say one last closing line to all my friends and guests and everybody who's going to watch this, that please understand that hospitality industry is tougher than military, and the people behind the scene or in front of you, those who are working in these beautiful hotels, are often misunderstood, that they are working in these great ambience and enjoying great food. It is one of the toughest careers to become a hotelier. I would say even tougher than a person working in military. And the most difficult thing, that no matter what you're suffering, you also always have to wear a smile.
Of course, sir.
And so I salute all the hoteliers in the world for the great job that they do to make the rest all of us happy. Thank you very
I
much.
think audience will always vouch for more conversations from you.
I would love to anytime.
On
And
that note, sir,
yeah, so it was a pleasure talking to
pleasure,
you.
sir.
Your questions are very well appointed, very well thought of. And so I always say that it's never an intelligent answer, it's always an intelligent question.
I
That,
hope I stood that to your expectation.
so your questions were so good that you could extract those
Nah.
answers from me.
Arre, sir.
So the credit also goes to you. So,
So
but
thank
thank
you,
you
sir.
for arranging this and coming
Very
to see
nice,
me.
sir. Thank you so much, sir.